Hey everybody, we're back here in the camper. What I got going on here is all these lights are shining in my eyes when I'm trying to watch the TV. I kind of likes to have a lamp in the background while I'm watching TV instead of all the lights just shining in my face. So I'm looking at this spot right here, and it looks like a perfect spot for a lamp. But I don't have a lamp. What I've got is this. It's an antique fuel pump. Someone was throwing it out a nice while ago with a box full of stuff, all antique car parts, and I took it and figures I'm going to make a lamp out of it. See, me needs a lamp, so I got it all taken apart and got it all put in this box here. Let's see if we could dump it out. There's all the screws. I think we're going to change them out. Probably put some stainless steel ones into it. Get out, boy. She's a tight fit. Alright. So we got to work with what we got. So we need a lamp. We got a fuel pump. That's it. That has to be a lamp. So what we're going to do, the glass goes on the bottom here. We're probably going to put like a night light socket in here, and I'm figuring a regular lamp socket coming up out of the top of it, and that should be pretty good. So what we're going to do now, we're going to sit down. I got this Milwaukee here. Someone was throwing it out. I bet you guessed that, didn't you? The electronics was gone, and the speed control was gone, and they were throwing it in the garbage. So what I did with it, I just connected the wires from the battery clip to the motor. So now when you put the battery in, it comes on. There's no speed control and there's no on off, but it does shut off when I takes the battery out. So what we got done, and we got a few little wire brushes there that we picked up. So we're going to put them into this, and I'm going to sit right there on the Chesterfield watching TV, and we're going to clean this thing up. I already had it in ultrasonic cleaner, but it didn't really take off this like corrosion-y type stuff here. So we are going to take this here and see if we could put it down on this battery here with one hand. And there you go. Well, we got her cleaned up good as we can here, and then the corners and then the little creases and stuff. I got this piece done here, and what we got to do, we got to take out this piece here is kind of offset. We don't want it over there, so what we're going to have to do, that's fairly deep, we're going to have to cut this out inside of there like that, and put a nightlight socket down into this here, and run the wires up through up here where we can join them inside the pump, and that'll light up our glass sediment bowl. As you can see, it's really thick. So I'm thinking about getting a colored bulb, like red or amber or something like that, and put that down there, and that should light that thick glass up pretty good. And I will probably put her across like this. That top goes on like so. We're gonna have to take out this arm. There's two little tabs holds that in, so we'll take them out and put that on there. So then what we got to do, we got to drill a hole up through here where this seal is, straight up through. Let's see, straight up through the top here, right in the center. So we're gonna come out right here. So what we got to do then is we got to get one of those threaded tubes like they have in the lamp, and thread this out and run that down through there. Probably put a nut on it here, and we'll end it there and have the wire come out. I do believe that's going to be still a bit close to the wall for the bulb, so we may have to put a spacer, maybe an inch spacer or so in here, And I'm going to use maybe a gear or a sprocket or something like that as a flange to mount it to the wall. I'm sure if we looks in our gear bucket or our sprocket bucket out in the sea can, we'll find something suitable, and see if I can pick up some bronze spray paint to do it. And then I got the little baler thingy here, goes over the glass to keep the glass in. I'm going to clean that up now on the wire wheel with the bench there in the sea can, and paint that, maybe paint that black or something. Put that back on, and see if we can't get ourselves a lamp. Well, I figured we'd come out in the sea can here, and we've got to make a bit more mess, and that's where our bench grinders too. We got to clean up this little baler here and these screws. I was going to replace the screws, but I think I'm just going to paint them to match it, and I'll clean them up. What we got done, this arm here that works the fuel pump has to come out because it's going to be in the way basically. This is always holding it in there. These two things was jammed down over the pin and kind of staked over the end. So I just pull those out. They were down here and there. So we can get this out of there, like so. That was what used to work the pump. Down like that. So we don't need that. What we do need is this nice hollow spot going in through here and coming down to there, where we can use to run the pipe up through to put our light socket onto. So we're going to clean this up here now on the old wire wheel, and see how she looks. We got these screws all cleaned up here. They are slotted screws, or flat-headed we always call them. We just touch them up with a little bit of sandpaper. They're not all the same. I don't know if that's original or not. 3 of them have lock washers on them, and 3 of them kind of have a built-in flat washer onto the head. I think they're original, but you never know with something this old. So the other couple I got stuck in there just to hold her together so we can see what we're working with. They're a little bit long because I left out the diaphragm, which would have took up that bit of thickness there. So we're going to kind of grind them down a little bit so they only comes flush with the top. And we do have our little clamp here that holds the sediment bowl, the glass sediment bowl, and we get that all shined up there on the wire wheel. So we'll get a bit of paint on that. We'll probably do that gold. And the screws, we'll probably do the heads of them gold. I'm thinking we're going to do this bronze with kind of gold highlights on it. I've seen a fellow do it one time before, and it looked really good. It looked antique-y, so that's what we're going for. And I got to dig out a pipe plug now. I ran a tap down in here just to clean it out, so I'm going to put probably a brass pipe plug in there. And we got to find one. And of course, Keo was here supervising, and just to make sure we does a good job. Well, we got all our screws cut off here for so they don't stick out the top. Cut them off. Well, actually, we didn't cut them off. They're kind of small, and the thread is fine, so cutting them is not overly a great idea. So we grinded them down here on the side of the grinding wheel. And it's a job to hold on to them and anything. I didn't want to damage them by holding them on with the pliers. So what I ends up doing is holding them on with my fingers like this. And of course, every time you get a couple of threads gone off, and it turns too hot to hold on to. So, you know, you burn your fingers a scattered time. But I figures that, I mean, they'll grow back. I can't wear gloves, of course. You're wondering why I'm not wearing gloves. But if you sees me wearing gloves, I'm a supervisor. Can't hold on to those little screws with gloves. So we got all them cut off there and pretty much the right length. I'll paint them a different color, and we got to figure it out. We'll put our plug in here. It's not overly, well, I guess what you'd call symmetrical, because this, if I wanted this to be straight across here like that wouldn't be. So if I turn this, and then of course this wouldn't line up with the screws. So I guess when it's originally on the car, it's I don't know if you can see it, it's off this way, but That's the way it's supposed to be, and I wanted to probably have these holes here either side to side or front to back, and they wouldn't line up side to side, so we're going with front to back, and we're going to put a plug in there, and then we got to cut this thing out in here to put a nightlight socket down into there. So let's see what we got here. Well, I looked through the fitting collection in there. I do have a tin box that's full of all kinds of fittings people were throwing out, and I found a few things here that we could put in this hole. This is what you call quarter NPT, National Pipe Thread. This is a safety valve belonging to a compressor. Some people call them blow-off valves. Wasn't overly feeling that. I mean, it don't belong in there really. This is where your fuel line's supposed to come in and out through these. Don't really, I mean, it's nice looking, I could shine it up, but still, I'm not really feeling it. This is more along the lines of what could be in there, somewhere where a line goes on, and I don't really want that sticking out there like a point either. This is an ear coupler from a compressor. I mean, that's half attractive looking, but it is stuck out kind of far. I don't want it out stuck out where I'm going to be banging into it and stuff like this, even though it is nice brass. So I skipped on that one. I got this one here. This is like an old-fashioned square pipe plug. That is brass too. That wouldn't be bad in there if I cleaned it up and stuff. The other thing is this one here. This one here is it's supposed to have a copper washer on it. It's a straight thread, not a tapered one like that pipe thread there, but copper washer goes on here, and that screws in. I kind of like this one because I could probably paint that bronze or whatever and just screw it right in until it brings up on the washer. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I think that looks better. I'll just screw that right on in there when I paint it, and that'll plug it off there, and it won't be stuck out too far or anything. And we'll get the socket in there. Thinking probably an amber bulb. And this glass is really thick here. There's like 1/4 of an inch thick, so this should light up half decent. I don't want it too bright to take away from the bulb on the top, but it should just light up like a night light down here and be half attractive looking. Now we got that stuck in there. I'm going to use that copper washer too, probably shine that up, leave that as natural color. And that plug looks pretty good in there. I had to trim it off a little bit because the hole wasn't so deep, but looks pretty good. And it kind of got a finished look to it. We get that painted up now before we put it all together. Now what we need is some sort of a flange type setup to put it on, to mount it on the wall. So we're going to have a look in there now and see what we can find. I'm just looking at this little lever thing that came out of it there. Almost looks like a dolphin. The front end of it looks like a duck's beak, but that there kind of looks dolphin-esque. Well, we're going to go on an adventure. I'll take you with me this time behind the magic curtain. And I don't have much room anymore, so everything is kind of condensed in here, as you can see. I was looking down around here. I didn't see anything there earlier. I believe the gears and stuff, because I think that's what I'm going to use. I believe the gears are up here on the top shelf. So we got this ladder here. Someone was throwing out because it's supposed to be a 2-part ladder and the other part is missing. So now it's a perfectly good 1-part ladder. And what do we got going on here? I think, oh, Keto wants to go in. All right, buddy, I'll be right with you. I got to find something for the lamp. Yeah. All right, we're going to go up the ladder here. Let's start over here. What do we got? Sanders, fans, breakers, switches, a winch, a fishing magnet-y thing, and concrete anchors, chain, bottle cutter, used chucks, nails and staples, horseshoes. I mean, who don't have a horseshoe collection? What's that? Caps, transformers, pulleys, dust collector, chargers. What did that say? More transformers, more switches, little gearbox, straps, propane brackets, pulleys, fans, only the small ones of course, AC plugs, powder actuated tool nails, rubber feet, oilers, carriage bolts, this bunch of spray stuff. I'm going to have to start pulling out some of this, so let's just sit the light here. Okay, what do we got? Brackets and wire wheels and stones. That looks like springs. Oh, large spring. Oh, I think we found what we're looking for right in the back there. Gears. All right. Let's see if we can move enough stuff to drag that out. I think that's what we're looking for. That definitely does say gears. Yeah. All right. After I got that dug out there, I found this gear. This is out of a snowblower. Drive gear off a snowblower. Kind of got this raised part on it here. I don't particularly like that. I might cut that off, but it is roughly the size of what we're looking for. We could take that raised part and cut it off, and it looks like we can put a couple of holes and bolt that sucker right onto there, and she'll make a base for it there. That's probably about the best thing we got. I do have a big sprocket in there, but the sprocket is like about 2.5 times the size of that, so that's a bit too big, and we're only talking in a camper, so I think that'll do it. We'll shine that up and paint that too, and everything should fall into place here. Well, we decided to go with these two colors. I was out this morning and picked them up. I'm going to do our accents with this, like our screws and stuff, with this aged metallic here. Paint and primer in one. Look at that, wicked. Well, couldn't afford the real gold plating, but this will do. And this one over here is a bronze, a dark bronze hammered finish, which looks pretty good on the cover. If it looks just as good on the fuel pump now, we'll be laughing. So what I got done, usually when I'm painting the heads of screws and stuff, I'll take a box or something, or a piece of cardboard, poke some holes in it and stick them in there and spray them. So we got them done. And here's our little plug to go in there in the hole, the pipe plug. And we also have our little clamp here that holds on our glass sediment bowl. So probably put a couple of coats on that, and that should do that. What we got here now, we got this gear with this raised part in the center. So I got to try to cut this raised part off here without damaging the gear, which is probably going to be a feat in itself. But we're going to break out the zip disc now and close our eyes and see if what we can't get done with her. Well, we got to cut off there somehow. A little bit rough, but we never done much damage to the gear part here. Cut it down the center and then cut it off underneath. It's a bit wide here for it to go in. Now we're bleeding. Just want to remind you guys that anytime you're using a grinder and you're in a tight spot, the guard is supposed to stay on there, or you ends up with something like this. I just looked in there. Now I just squat this back together there a second ago, and I can see the tendon moving. So, I mean, some people would look at that and go, well, geez, that's not a good sign if you can actually see the tendon. But, you know, I prefer to look on the bright side. The tendon is actually moving, and that's what it's supposed to do. So I'm going to go put a Band-Aid on this now before we grunge the rest of this down and get on with the project. All right, boys, I got a serious question for you here now. Well, we were rooting around in there behind the magic curtain looking for the bucket with the gears in it. Neither one of you happened to spot the first aid kit by any chance, did you? Haven't found it since I moved. It might come in handy for when I runs out of duct tape. We're getting this done. I was just sanding her down there a bit to take out a couple of those little nicks where I kind of just touched it while I was cutting off that middle part. Getting down there. So what I'm going to do now before I finishes it off, I'm going to drill some holes in it for the bolt on the pump, fuel pump. I took it on the wire wheel and cleaned out all the gears there, and cleaned out in those holes with this stone type thing. Someone was getting rid of a couple of them one time, and I looked at it and it didn't really look overly useful, but I just hauled it out of the toolbox and it fits perfect in there and made it nice and shiny, because we don't want no dirt there. We want our paint to stick good. I think I'm going to do this here gold, same as the hardware and everything, and then just had the pump bronze. It might make the pump stand out more. Not 100% sure yet, but we're making up our mind as we're going along. So I'm going to drill some holes here now. I've found that when you're working with things that really have no business going together, like say an antique fuel pump off a car and a gear off a snowblower, there's always something that kind of throws a wrench into things. Not literally, but the universe is always working against you, because it really doesn't want you putting these things together. But I don't care. What we got going on here now, I marked it out. I tried to drill the holes, and the gear is too hard to drill a hole in. So much for tapping out 2 holes to put the screws in here to put our fuel pump on like so. So now we got to come up with another plan. Now I tried heating it up to see if I could drill through it, but the torch I got is not exactly hot enough. Really needs a acetylene torch, and I don't have one. I suppose I could bring it in the camper and put it in the pellet stove, but I'm 9 chances out of 10 I'd drop it and burn the camper down on the way out, so I'm probably not going to do that. I think what I'll do is I'll make a little piece of plate or something, probably the same as the bottom of the pump here, or the mounting part, and I'll fasten the bolts onto that, and then I'll weld that onto on the back, onto the gear. I'll just lay that here and have maybe 2 studs sticking out or something, and then turn it over and weld it on the back in the center, and then you won't be able to see what's done there. It'll look like it's coming through here. That's what we're going to do, I do believe. So now all I got to do is I got to find something to put on there. Just digging through the metal bushings container here, I found a bunch of stuff, because I remembered that I had this in there. I'm pretty sure this here is also off a snowblower, and it looked to be roughly the same shape as this from my memory, but not quite. It's a little bit too wide, and not quite high enough. But I think I might modify it to fit. I'm wondering if I cuts a piece out and bends it together, whether I'll make it higher in the top and make the bolt holes closer together. We're going to give it a shot and see what happens. The universe said nope. Looks like this is made out of maybe cast iron or something that's really brittle. As you can see by the way it's cracked here. I cut a piece out of the other side and tried squeezing it together. Even with it heated up, it still just broke off. So we're not doing that. So back to the drawing board. I went to look for a washer in the washer bucket, but then I started thinking I'd have a look and see if I had any more gears that were big enough. So I found this one. He's only tin, and he's kind of dished a little bit, as you can see. So he had a whole pile of holes in them already. So I had a gander at the holes, and 2 of them were really close to what I needed. So I took a chainsaw file here and filed them out a little bit, and then used this little burr in the drill to get the holes the right size and where I wanted them. So that lines up now with here. So what I'm going to do, I got these bolts, 5/16 bolts. Of course, someone was throwing them out, and they're here in the 5/16 bolt container, which was a Cascade dishwasher tab thingy. They're great for putting stuff in. I got a bunch of them down there. But anyway, what I got done, I took the bolts that I needed and I kind of grinded off one of the flat sides, because where the hole sits to, it's close to the lip. So when I puts the bolt down in through, let's see if we can get her up here where I can hold the camera. I can't find my contraption for holding the camera. That's somewhere at this point. I'm not exactly sure where. It's probably with the first aid kit. So anyway, that will go down there like that. So I thought I was going to have to weld these things on, but I don't, because they can't turn anyway. It only goes as far as there. So I got both of them done like that. Oh, and a bit of an update. Looking there the other day, never guess what I found. My welding mask. Now I can weld with my eyes open. Wicked, eh? Figures you'd be interested. I'm after doing a few projects with the old eyes closed. But what I got here now, we're going to throw this in there, like so. So, you want to go down there? You fell in there a minute ago. That's the universe again. Guaranteed. But anyway, I'm going to take that. I will have to take a little bit off the head of the bolt. Not very much, just a little tiny bit so he's flush with this. Then I'm going to put that on there in the middle. That should look pretty good, because it kind of half covers those big holes are there. And then the pump will screw on top of that. But I don't want to weld it on, because you can kind of see through the holes and I won't be able to get the paint in there. So it kind of needs a way to like bolt this on or something like that. And of course, as you know, I can't drill a hole in this big gear because it's too hard. This one here was a bit softer, so we were lucky there. So I don't know, I might put something in the middle. We shall see anyway. But I get something to hold that on. Then all we got to do is put this right on top of her, and everything will be right sexy and shit, right? We got her there now. All right, we got this, and this is not fastened on yet, but it's laid there. It fits there pretty good. 2 seconds ago it did, and now, oh, I got that turned. Hang on a second. All right, put her back over like so, and line her up. More or less like that there. Looks half decent. So this here should, theoretically speaking, fit down on there like that. Yeah. Yeah, so that looks half decent. Look at that, 2 gears. Don't know what that other one is off of. Probably like a hammer drill or something. So what we got to do now, we got to find a way that we can fasten this on here after we paint it, so we can't weld it on, unfortunately. So let's dig amongst the stuff behind the magic curtain again and see what else we can come up with. Look at it. Look what I got going on there now. I got this 5/8 bolt, which is just about exactly the same size as the hole. Little tiny bit of slop in it. And I started looking at this. There's kind of a slot here. The bolt head wouldn't fit in there, so I cut it off like this. So this will fit in there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this through there, like so, and we'll get her lined up. Now what we got here is nuts off a grinder. You might recognize them. Every time it throws out a grinder, it keeps the nut. I mean, it's a 5/8 nut, which would fit this bolt here. So sin throw it out. You're looking for a nut down that ball thrown in the garbage, right? That don't make no sense. So what we're going to do is tighten that down. Now what it is, there's a little ledge on the bottom of this. That's a bit bigger than the bolt size. Let's see. Do I get this in here? Okay, so what we're going to need to do, you can still move it a little bit. So we'll put a little bushing in between so it sits in the center, because we don't want to have it off to the side or anything, but we put a little bushing in there, and that'll keep that right in the center. So what we'll have then, when we'll cut off that bolt, the right length, we'll have our 2 little bolts here that we trimmed, and we cut down the top of a bit so they're not as high. They'll be coming out through these 2 holes here, and then this can go right on like so. Fits right over that. That'll look wicked. Yes, sirree, Bob. Now, guys, if you fellas are interested in what I'm at, by fellas, that means girls too. Around here, the boys is the boys, no matter if they're girls or boys. Um, you could subscribe because there's at least a half a dozen or so people watching me already. So you might as well hit the old subscribe button there and you won't miss anything. I think this is going to look wicked when I get it done. So what we got to do here now, we got to cut off that bolt, make a little bushing to go into it. And then we'll soon be ready to start putting the electrical stuff in here, making the, I got a socket here somewhere. I don't know what I did with it, but it is here. Light socket right in my pocket. Well, that's what happens when you don't organize everything before you start doing projects. But take me word for it, it's here somewhere. We're after getting carried away here. I expect I'm going to have to go in and get some supper soon. It's getting dark. Gone down the rabbit hole on this one. Alright, so what we're doing, like I said, there's a little ledge on this grinder nut. And that's what's going to be holding these two gears together. So if it puts it in there, it's sloppy. So it won't be in the center and it'll be pile fooling around, just line it up and tighten it and not into that. So we're looking in our metal bushings container here. I got a couple of those. There's all kinds of wonderful stuff in there. I found this one here. There's a bit of brass on the inside with steel on the outside. And he fits in there. And with looks at this, he is just about the right size to go over the edge of that there. May have to ream it just a little tiny bit, not very much. But I think that is going to do it. So we put that in there, and then we got pretty much everything else under control, as long as I find the light socket, because I know I have a container full of like lamp parts behind the magic curtain. I don't know how magic that curtain is, because it'd be nice if I could just say, bring me the part, and it would just show up, but it's packed away in there somewhere. So we shall have a gander. Now we're moving along here now. We got our two mounting bolts in here, and they won't spin because they're up against the sides. This here is the bolt that holds this gear to the other gear. It's all tightened up. There's the grinder nut, got the bushing in there so it doesn't slide back and forth. We will have to rig out something on this gear to mount it on the wall. Probably rather not go top and bottom on this one, because the pump is going to be hanging down in the way here. So I'll probably go side to side or something. We'll figure that out after anyway. Right now, let's see what we got. That all looks good there. Here's our top part of our pump. And let's see if we can get her over so you can see. And that goes on there like that. And not easy to do things that require some manual dexterity here when you're looking at the whole world through the screen of a smartphone. But if you sees me struggling here trying to do this little small stuff, it's because I don't really see what I'm at. Alright, that's two of those on there. We'll probably paint those up. They are nice brass, but might put gold on them. Now I'm figuring we'll go with the gold on this one, the bronze on this, and this. I think. Or should I go bronze on this and then gold on the one in between and then bronze on that one there? Well, that's a good question. I'm going to have to think about that one. But right now, what we got to do, we got to find the socket, the light socket, and we got to drill a hole down through here, or actually more accurately, up through here. So let's see if we get it in the right spot. So the lamp part will come out there. Not going to have a really high wattage bulb in it or anything. Probably going to get one of those like Edison type bulbs, and should look nice. I won't need to put a shade or anything on it then to cover it up. So we got to do that. And we'll worry about gouging out the bottom part to fit the nightlight socket into. But she's shaping up. She should look good on the camper wall like that. Yes, my son, look over. Wicked. Alright. Now this was interesting. I got the hole drilled in there. I took out that seal that was in there just so we could get the socket up in there to tighten up the nut. And because the piece of threaded tubing that was on this socket was really short, so we decided to put the nut in here. But the top of this wasn't flat. So we had to try to get it straight up and down here, and I tried like foiling the top of this to try to get it flat, but it's not thick enough to take enough off it. So what I found was this white plasticky sort of washer thing in the washer collection, and I kind of grinded it until it sat straight. I put the level, where I got the level, I must have put it back over, but I put the level on here and level this, and then I laid the level across the top of this, and then grinded it until I got it where it's pretty close. It's a job to tell if it's off either a little bit at all. It does tip out a little tiny bit, but I don't think that's an overly bad thing. So what we got to do now, we got to take it apart again, of course, to put the wires and everything in true and paint it and that sort of stuff. We got to get the other piece done for the nightlight bulb, because I'm a sucker for punishment and I'm not satisfied with just a regular lamp. I wants to have a nightlight bulb in the bottom lighting up my sediment bowl. And as you can see, we managed to get duct tape off this morning. Wasn't easy. That stuff sticks pretty good like the old elastoplast bandages. So you used to take the band-aid off and then you need lighter fluid to get the glue off. Duct tape is kind of the same way. So it doesn't look like I'll have to practice my stitching here today. Unless I knocks it off of something while I'm working, which is a good possibility because that's just the way the universe works. I gotta say, this is not the fun part. Trying to get that piece out of in there. We're using this little burr on the drill. I drilled it out first with a step bit, and now we're just trying to grind it out. I was thinking maybe I could get a Dremel tool bit or disc down inside of it there, but that looks a bit sketchy. I don't know, I might have to do the grinding all the way out because I got to make it the full size of this without this piece in here. So, we're still at it. We got to find messmate. This aluminum stuff doesn't taste very good at all. I got more of it on me now than I'd know it. But we did find something here that tends to cut it out a bit better than what the burr and the drill was doing. I got this contraption here on that little Milwaukee discarded Dremel tool that we were using with the wire bursts in it. This seems to be working pretty good. Just got to hold on to it, and every now and then with the vibration it works its way out, so I got to move it in and tighten it up. But we are getting down there. We should have enough room soon to be able to put our nightlight socket down in her. We got her all taken apart again here. We got this done. The little Dremel tool thing worked perfect, so we got that all gouged out down in there. So now all we got to do is root behind the magic curtain there now and see if I can find like a nightlight socket or something to go down into here that we can put a little LED bulb into. And I got the other small gear here painted out by the door there, drying in the sun. Finally getting some sun. So what we're going to do here now, we're going to have a look and see if we can't find a socket. Oh, I found this one after. This one's best kind. So just one more now. We got a few things painted here. Look at that. That looks pretty cool, hey? Things like that. Now I got a couple of more coats on it. We got one coat on the top part of the pump. Right there. Of course, the bottom part is all gouged out, ready for the socket that I can't seem to find. Still working on that. And what we're doing here now, I think I'm going to weld the tab on right here, sticking out there like that, so we can put a screw in through this hole. And that'll be plenty to hold it up if we just put one screw in the top, rather than kind of take the look off it by having a bunch of screws all over the place there. So I'm just going to, I just made a little tab here. I'm just going to tack this on. I just tapered that down a little bit there for some room for the weld. And we'll weld that on. so we'll have something to hold it on with. Well, we got that welded on there, right into the back. So what I'll do, I'll probably paint that little tab. The color of the wall is going to go onto and the head of the screw. That way you won't notice it as much. It's right on the back there, and that'll hold it up as nice and solid. It's welded on the inside and the outside. So now, tomorrow I guess we'll just clean that up a bit, get a bit of paint on it. And we got to find that socket to go in there. I was down the road earlier and I picked up a couple of little LED nightlight bulbs. I wanted color ones, but they didn't have any. So it looks like I'll be painting them or dyeing them or something, whatever comes first. And I also got a couple of other bulbs. Let's see here. These ones here, they're supposed to be old-fashioned look to them, so they're to be like a yellowy hue to them. They're only 30 watts, and they got like the long filaments in them, but they are LED, so they won't burn a whole lot of electricity. So they should be nice into it, attractive looking, so I don't have to put a shade on there. So hopefully she'll all come together now when I get that little nightlight socket. Apparently they don't sell them anymore because everything is gone with the permanent LEDs built into them now. So, and I know I got some here somewhere, but I just went through about 4 different boxes and never found them. So my guess is now the universe is telling me I'm going to find those when I get one somewhere else. But we shall see. Okay, we got this little socket here, nightlight socket. This is a little LED bulbs I got to go into it. Not colored, of course, but we're going to have to change that. I got a couple of those, so we got a spare one. Little socket got an extension on it, so it's definitely going to be too long for that, because when the sediment bowl goes on the top of it there, of course, it's going to be hitting the bulb. So what we needs to get this thing right up high. Let me see, where is our sediment bowl? Right here. Okay, yeah, so that ain't gonna work. So what we needs to do, we gotta get it. Let's see how close to this go. Only 3/4 of an inch or so. So we got to get it. Ooh, we gotta get her right in there. We do, because that strikes there. So this is gonna have to be right up inside, like that. Well, not quite, but it's gonna have to be up into the top part of it. So what we're gonna have to do, we're gonna have to gouge it out enough so our socket can fit up into there. And we're gonna have to take off this little bracket. We don't need this here. Take off that bracket. We'll just grind off this pin here and take that out. So we just got the socket. So that'll give us close to what we need. And then we just got to ream that out a little bit down inside there so it can go right up inside. And then we got to fill in around it here. Now I know you guys are thinking like you can't believe that I haven't been public speaking all my life. I know this is hard to believe and everything, the way my sentences are so eloquent and everything seems so polished and shit, right? But no, not at all, actually. And I don't even make a script. I just kind of talks as I'm going. So, as I've mentioned in some of my other videos there, you pretty much knows what I'm going to say more than I do. So, we'll all see what comes out. Beautiful day out there. What we're doing here now, we have our socket put into the pump, and we're waiting for it to dry here. What we got done, we have modeling clay put around the socket, like so, and around there, I got 2 wires put onto it. Got them sticking out through where we're going to join them inside. And so we gotta wait for this to dry. I don't know how long the modeling clay takes to dry, but it should be good when we gets her all dried up. And we do have a coat of paint on the back gear, our flange that goes on the wall. And Kia was out here making sure everything is going as planned. And well, we couldn't get any orange nightlight bulbs. So what we had to do, we had to paint them. And I had some paint, but this paint is one that tipped over and someone was throwing it out because the nozzle was broke off it. So I turned it and managed to spray it with against something, Allen key, and spray it into here, and then use the paintbrush to paint it on to the bulb. So that should have a nice hue to it now when it lights up the glass sediment bowl, which we got in here. So now it's just a matter of basically waiting for some stuff to dry. Well, I went through the cord collection and I found this power cord here belonging to a Milwaukee charger for charging up batteries, so I like that one up there. So what we got done, tried to want to make it look a bit more presentable rather than just a cord hanging down the wall. I'm not much into that. So what I got a bit of chain and that I had there, and it was black, so I just took out the spray paint that we sprayed the like the gears and other things like that with in the hardware, and just sprayed the chain a few times and weaved the cord in through it, so kind of hides the cord a little bit anyway, makes it look a bit more attractive. We just need to find a way now to hook the chain onto the fuel pump, and then we need to have a grommet or something for the cord to go in. And Keo is jumping up on top of me to supervise again, apparently. Yes, he likes supervising. See? Oh my. Oh hey, you're still here. Congratulations to everybody who's hanging in here, because this has been the longest video I've ever made. I've tend to more just show what I got done rather than actually show while I'm doing it. So thanks a lot if you're hanging in at this point. It's like a full-length movie. So what we got done, we had to figure out a place for the cord to come out. So I was going to join inside here between this piece and this piece here. So there's a bit of a hollow there, so it gives us room enough to join the wires. This is the wires for the nightlight socket here. The other ones is the cord got to go up to the lamp. I'm going to make it come in through the fuel port on the inside. So I drill that out, and then I drill a hole down through here. So what I'm going to do now, I am going to get some insulation type stuff to put over the cord just in case. I don't like cords touching the metal even if they are insulated. And then we're going to see if we can't find a grommet or something to go into the end of there. And start getting ready to paint her. Yes, this is where the grommets live. In here. And that is an icy square container, absolutely. And if you're wondering what happened to the icy squares, they got me out. Alright, so we found one. Little rubber one here. I haven't got it pushed all the way in here yet because we got to paint this and I don't want to paint the rubber, but we're going to put that in there so the cord can come out through it. And what we're going to do now, we get a little bit of that white fiberglass or whatever it is, insulation stuff put on the cord, and the cord can go in through here and up through there, and we'll have that piece of stuff over it just to protect it a little bit. And we're soon getting ready for the paint on this, and then we can start putting her all back together. Alright, we're going to take a dive now into Pop's antique tackle box again. And here's where he keeps this sort of stuff. Here's what I'm looking for. I don't know if you can see it. Let's get you focused here. It's like a fiberglass weave sort of a thing. It covers wires with it in tools and stuff like that. That'll protect it a bit more. And let's see, probably the single wires. I'll throw a bit of smaller stuff over it right there. And that'll make me feel better about the whole thing. It's trying to figure out how we're going to hold the chain on with the cord, because we can't really just let the chain hang there on the electrical connections. So what I got done, I squat the chain link a bit, like so, and it's going to fit. See if we can get this out where you can see it. It's going to fit over this outlet here where the cord is going to come out, So what we're going to do, I found a washer. I just had to ream it out a little tiny bit. This little washer here, the grommet that we had to put in there is fairly snug in that hole. And now I reamed that out so that'll fit over that. That's a bit bigger than that. So that's bigger than what that chain link is. So I can just loop the chain link over the end of this little piece sticking out, pop that in there, and it can't go anywhere. Well, you never guess. Somebody was throwing out a cord belonging to a DeWalt grinder. So we didn't have to go looking for any wires, like we would anyway. But however, we got a couple of those put in here now. We got the black and the white all rigged out here. So we got our stuff color coordinated and shit. And we're just ready here now for when everything dries. We're going to put her together. And I think we'll have a pretty good lamp. Now guys, this video, as I mentioned, is very long. My earlier videos, I used to basically just show what things I used to make the stuff without actually going into the process of how I did it or any of this stuff. They were way shorter. If you guys wouldn't mind, have a look at some of my earlier stuff and give us a comment and let me know if you think I should go back to kind of just showing it that way, what I did and what I used, rather than actually going through the whole process. Some people might not be into the long haul, you know. And, well, we're going to wire her up now. Keo was in here to make sure everything is done CSA approved and everything. What we got our chain put over the edge of there, and our grommet and our washer and everything put on, all best kind. Sediment bowls on, our bulb is in there that we painted, plug is in. The wires are sticking up there for the nightlight socket and the cord, and there's the wire sticking down there for the lamp socket, which we have to join up there now. So we're going to join them so we can put it together. Should be enough room in here to kind of tuck them in so we can bolt it together. Well, we're here in the camper now. We're doing the final inspection. Actually, should I say Tinker is doing the final inspection. What do you think, Tinker? Have a look at the lamp. See what you thinks. And we're going to go over and have a look at it. Yes, I know he loves it, hey? Okay, let's go over here. We got it on the wall. Got our chain going down here that we could hide our cord into somewhat. And there's our glowing little night light there. And all our gold color hardware. Our gears, snowblower gear, and a hammer drill gear, and our antique fuel pump with our little plug and everything into it, and our fancy old-fashioned looking bulb and everything. Looks best kind. Hey, we turn off the light here now. We'll see what it looks like with the well, so look at that. That's like wicked. Let's close the blind here so we can have a good look at it. Oh yeah, sure, that's perfect. Sure, any better than that? Be too good. Okay, let's turn on the top part of the lamp here. Oh, sure, that's perfect for watching TV. Look at that. Wicked, my son. Nothing wrong with it at all. Yes, now some of you guys have been, be asking, why didn't you just go buy a lamp? Well, anybody could do that, for starters. And also, I'd be left with an antique fuel pump. What in the frig would I do with a leftover antique fuel pump? Not like we're going to throw it out. Throw it out? No, why?